Hello viewers, and this is Matt Gordy. Welcome to another entry to La Crosse Promise Future Center's virtual library. This episode will be on letters of recommendation. So let's just start with what a letter of recommendation is for. Well, typically it is a supplemental material. Only a select number of colleges or institutions absolutely require a letter of recommendation. So just starting off in this is to check and see if you will need a letter of recommendation or if it's something that can be included with the application. So as a supplemental material, what is it doing for you or for the application? It's used to take a deeper look at the applicant, to learn more about them, their strengths, their obstacles that they've overcome, their character, the ways that they contribute to their communities, things of this nature. And this is really only used to help strengthen the application. In no way, shape, or form is a letter of recommendation going to hurt you as long as the writer did a nice job. So if it is a supplemental material and you are able to provide a letter or two of recommendation, I would recommend trying to do that. Maybe it would be worth noting at this point that nobody wants more than 2 letters of recommendation, and so finding 2 letters is probably optimal or as much as you need to do. Who should write that letter? Well, the quick answer is a teacher. Okay, an institution is admitting you to be a student first and a community member, an athlete, an artist, whatever it is, second. Okay, so they want to know about you as a student and what you're capable of in the classroom setting. So having at least one of those letters of recommendation be from a teacher is absolutely critical and important. So please make that your priority. But if you do have the opportunity to provide 2 letters and the second one isn't coming from a teacher, that's okay if it's somebody who can do a great job depicting you and what you bring to the table. So other options might be like your school counselor or a director of an extracurricular activity, like you're in show choir, or if you are in a sporting event or a club in your school. Other options might be places that you work at in the community or volunteer at in the community. So maybe your employment supervisor, if you work within your church or religious affiliation, maybe that would be a person that can write for you. So just someone who can speak to you as a person and you as to what you bring to making communities better and making a positive impact on the things that you're passionate about. And so how can you help make this letter happen, bring it to life, things of that nature? First, give the writer guidance. If there are things that you want them to showcase about you, tell them that. Ask them to speak to those things. That's incredibly helpful to say, I want you to showcase my skill in this or how I contributed to that. And that writer will be happy to do that. Provide a timeline of completion. What we recommend is that you give a minimum of 2 weeks to a writer. And so if you ask them to write it for you today, 2 weeks later, if you don't have it back, it would be appropriate to speak to that person and say, hey, remember how I requested that letter? Is there some sort of timeline that I could expect to get that back from you? But 2 weeks is a fair amount of time to give them. You'll also need to explain how to submit that letter or if there's anything that they need to do in that process. Maybe what you want is to get a PDF copy of that back. Maybe it's that they need to submit it directly to a college or institution. Maybe it's the Common Application where what's going to happen is they're going to get an email from Common App saying that X student would like you to write a letter on their behalf, and they will upload it there. So you need to be aware of how that letter gets to the institution and share that information with your writer if it's going to change how they go about it. And then complete a letter of request form. Both of the public high schools have forms that students can pick up that will help detail out information about them. It gives the writer ammunition to write about. It gives the writer and the reader some time to think critically about what is important or salient to their identities that should be talked about, or bringing up their credentials, their awards, things like that. So this form is very useful. When I was a teacher, I absolutely required students to provide this form completed to me if they wanted a letter of recommendation, because it helped me a lot to pick out the things that I was going to speak to, whether I knew the student really well or just knew them as a good classroom participant or academic student. So doing that would be helpful. And then finally, I know this doesn't pertain to getting the letter done, but once you've used that letter of recommendation, write a thank you note. They're short, they're to the point. Thank you notes are like 3 sentences long. This is a way of you taking that step into adulthood and taking responsibility for the time and energy that people put into you and acknowledging that time and energy. And so this is a good practice to get into. If you need help writing letters or thank you notes, or you need a thank you note, the Future Centers are happy to provide those to you. Just stop into one of the Future Center offices and we will work with you on that. But make this a priority in the process. Finally, here are your two advisors. We are always here to help you. If you need anything in relation to letters of recommendation or anything else that pertains to you and your pursuit of your goals after graduation, we're here to serve you. So please connect with us, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.